Hey everyone, today I'm excited to introduce you to Shiny, an R package that simplifies building interactive web applications. For our demo, we'll be creating a Stock Explorer app, which will allow us to explore stock data dynamically. Here's a basic template to get us started. As you can see, we begin by loading the Shiny library. If you're new to app development, here's a quick rundown. Every web app has a user interface or UI, which is what the user interacts with, and a server, which handles all the behind-the-scenes logic, like data handling or calculations. Right now, we haven't added any server logic yet, so let's focus on the UI first. Here, we're using FluidPage to create a layout that adjusts to screen size. Pretty handy, right? The first thing we'll add is a title panel to set the app's title. Let's go with Stock Explorer. To see our app in action, type shiny::run app open parenthesis, shiny RR, close parenthesis into the console or whatever you decide to name your file. Hit enter and our app is live. Not much going on yet, but we've got our title showing up, so we know it's working. Before doing any coding, let's brainstorm the layout. To help you get a clear picture, I'll pull up a preview of what our fully built app will look like. You'll see the UI has two main parts, a sidebar and a main panel. In the sidebar, we have inputs for the stock ticker and the date range. So let's sketch out the basic structure of our sidebar layout in the app. Then we've got the main panel, which is where the output shows up. Whatever we input in the sidebar will be displayed here in the main panel. The main panel has two rows. The first row shows the current stock metrics, like the stock price, the change in price, and the percentage change. We'll set up a basic structure for that in our app too. By the way, fluid row just means that the row layout will adapt to different screen sizes. Now the second row is a bit more exciting. It has a time series price chart and a table displaying the latest stock data. So let's also outline the structure for that. Now that we've got the basic UI, let's build input functionality to the sidebar. I'll link a site in the description that explains different types of inputs you can use in your app if you want to explore more options. In our app, we'll use select input for the stock ticker and date range input for the date range. We'll add some labels like select stocks and select dates to make it clear. For select input, I'll add a few stock ticker choices. To keep things simple, we'll just go with 3. The selected option is just the default ticker that will show up initially. For date range input, the end date will default to today's date, and the start date will be 180 days before that. For the time being, let's ignore the main panel and move on to the server logic. Shiny's server function is designed to react to user inputs and generate outputs dynamically. The first part in the server function is fetching the stock data. We define a reactive function, getData, that retrieves stock data using the QuantMod package. So I'm just going to load the QuantMod library here. We use getSymbols to download data from Yahoo Finance for the input stock and date range. If an error occurs, like an invalid ticker, it will return null. Next, we calculate the stock price change over the chosen date range. To do so, I'm going to use the dplyr library. GetChange is a reactive function that uses the closing prices to calculate the change between the start and end dates. Similarly, we calculate the percentage change using getChange%. This function also uses the start and end closing prices and returns the percent difference. Once the backend processing is done, we can display the output on the front end. We have 3 outputs here: output price, output change, and output change %, which show the current stock price, price change, and percent change as text. We're using render text to create each of these outputs and format them for display. In the UI, all we need to do is return these outputs. The number 4 here represents the column width. After displaying current price information, let's go on to create a time series chart. We are doing so by using the Plotly library. The stock price history chart is created with render Plotly. We convert the stock data to a data frame and plot the closing prices over time. Let's also display the chart onto the UI, and the result is a beautiful interactive chart. Finally, we use render table to display the latest stock data in a table format. Let's also project that to the UI and our app is complete.